Hello, I'm Frost, and welcome to my Is It For You guides, where I provide you with information on a game to help you decide whether it is indeed for you or not. And this time we are looking at Dual Universe in beta. Welcome back. So you may not have heard of Dual Universe, and the reason for that was that the game was actually subject to NDA whilst it was in alpha. So no one could stream, no one could make videos about it, but all of that changed on the 27th of August. And this video is being shot less than 2 weeks after the 27th of August, just under 2 weeks. And I do mention that because it is very relevant, as the situation with this game is extremely fluid and things may be very, very different a month from now. So let me begin. What is Dual Universe? Well, one way to describe it, if you know your sci-fi games, if EVE Online and Space Engineers had a child, that would be Dual Universe. So what we have is a space-based MMO that's going to have a player economy that's going to be driven through player markets, although at the moment there are obviously robots kind of fulfilling some of the roles of the markets. And then we have PvP, and that PvP will scale out from everything from single ship right up to territorial conflict like we have in nullsec in EVE. Then on the Space Engineers front, what we have is we have the shipbuilding. So instead of having pre-assigned ships given to you that you can choose from, you can build your ships from scratch using voxels. And also you can do base building. And then this is all based around a number of different planets and moons, and these planets and moons have different features about them, for example different gravity, different minerals to mine, etc, etc. So that in a nutshell is kind of what Dual Universe is trying to do, and that is a very, very big ask. I mean, we're talking about a lot of things that have got to work very, very well, and that's why I am saying that the situation right now is very fluid. As less than 2 weeks since the beta, the game is struggling with the number of players, and because of that it is affecting both the login times and also the server uptime, and also what actually happens within the game when you actually do manage to get online. And the reason why this is a bit of an issue is because it's making it extremely difficult for beginners to get a grip on the game. Now, the main reason is that when you first log into the game, you'll be subject to extreme lag. I mean, I'm talking like 1 to 2 frames a second as you're trying to move around the base and do the tutorials. And so therefore it gets very difficult trying to learn the mechanics of the game when you've kind of got that situation. Now, it isn't like that everywhere. If you actually get away from the districts, which are the places where the player markets are and where all the tutorials take place, and you go further afield, then the frame rate goes right up and you get to the point where you've got very smooth gameplay. But when you're starting out, unfortunately you start in a place where the frame rate is extremely bad, so it's something to be aware of. The other thing that is a problem at the moment as well is the tutorials are broken. The main tutorial works okay, but the other tutorials like the mining tutorial, the construction tutorial, etc., you come into the tutorial and there are no voxels, so in other words there's no building. And so you drop like 100 meters down to the ground, and all of the waypoints that you need to go to in order to be able to move the tutorial forwards are out of reach. Now, I know this is being looked at, but I'm mentioning this now as it is very, very relevant that if you are someone that needs to be kind of very spoon-fed into the game, you have no chance. You really need to figure things out for yourself. Something else that is causing an issue as well is if you try and Google anything to find out how to do something, a lot of the links are to the Dual Universe site, but it's the old site, and so everything just dumps you right back on the homepage. And so the only way you can really get information outside of the help that's actually in-game is through the Discord channel. And the Discord channel, depending on the status of the server, can be sometimes very helpful, can sometimes just be lots of tears and salt. So that's something else to be aware of. Now, what I would say with this is that if you are looking for a game with very few glitches that's working okay, but still not quite there, then no, this is not the game for you, because it is nowhere near that state at the moment. But on the upside, what I will say is this game has a huge potential. If it can do what it's setting out to do, it is going to be an amazing game. And if you play MMOs, you know that getting in early doors is a good thing. I mean, for example, one of the things that it has is a passive skill queue. So the sooner you start training, the sooner you get all the good stuff that you're going to need later on in the game. Just like with Eve, when you first start, you think, how am I ever going to get into a Titan? And then you've been playing 5 years and you can fly a Titan. So it's kind of the same thing here. And if you're willing to kind of deal with the glitches and stuff, then great. I mean, to give you an idea though, is that, like I said, you get the poor frame rate in the districts, but one instance I had my inventories just suddenly become all empty. One of the big problems is that when you're mining, which you do a lot of at the beginning of the game, because that's how you earn the currency, there are things called pending operations where it seems to queue up all of the requests for mining, and instead of mining sort of moving forwards when you're mining sort of once a second or less than that, you're literally spending 3 or 4 seconds waiting to move on to the next mining operation, which can seriously slow down your game. We then got things like voxels disappearing depending on whether you're in build mode or not. And then this last weekend, so it was the second weekend after the game came into beta, the servers were pretty much unusable all weekend. They were either down or we had population control where the number of players was being restricted, and we were ending up with queues that were 45 minutes long in order to get into the game. And then when you did get into the game, all kinds of weird things were happening. So you've got to be prepared that if you're going to get into this game, that you need to have your Netflix ready for when you're logging in, so that you can be watching something while you're waiting to play. And also have other games that you want to play when the server's going to be down. You could not assume that the server is going to be functional when you want it to be functional, even though it's in beta. If you can manage all of these things, then great, then absolutely do go for it. Also, the other good thing is when the server's down, just go onto Discord, go into the discussion, and just look at all the salt and tears that is running through there. That is entertainment in itself. And if you're an EVE player, you'll know that salt and tears can be great sometimes. So overall, it is kind of a mixed bag. And hopefully this guide has given you an idea as to whether it's something you want to venture in or not. What I will say is you will be entertained one way or the other. Now, my own personal view on this is that what Nova Quark, who are the developers of the game, are really suffering from at the moment is a lack of communication. Their community presence isn't what it should be. If you look at someone like Coffee Stain, who makes Satisfactory, their community presence is amazing, and they really keep their community on the ball as to what's happening. And when you're dealing with MMOs, you're dealing with players who've played a lot of video games, put a lot of hours into games. They know what games are about. And they just need to know what is going on. And even if it's bad news, then at least they can work around that. But when you're kind of left in the dark and you don't know when you're going to be able to log in, or whether the situation is something that can be fixed by a reboot or is going to take like 2 days of downtime, those are the kind of things that need to be communicated, and they're not being communicated at the moment. I'm really hoping if Nova Quark do watch this video, that they will take that into consideration, as I think that will be a big deal in terms of keeping the community together during what is now a very difficult time for them. But, a month from now, the situation may be very completely different. So that's it. I'm going to wrap it up there. I think I've talked enough about the game and the situation around it. I hope you found that useful. If you did, please give me a like. If you can dislike too, that's fine. Please be sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications, and I also stream twice a week at the moment, so Wednesdays and Saturdays, and I stream on YouTube, so it will just pop up on the channel and you'll get a notification if you've hit the bell icon. Right, that's all from me for tonight. See you on the next one. Bye.